Here's a story. So I worked at Build-A-Bear Workshop for like close to 3 years. And for the most part, it was a pretty dang good job. All things considered, the management was great. I had some pretty good coworkers, some people who were genuinely enthusiastic about working there. And most of our customers were just great. Most being the operating word there. And as with every retail job, I had my fair share of poopy guests. And I'm not even talking about the one time that one kid pooped on the floor. True story, by the way. So one night I was working there as kind of a floater. I was primarily on registers, but they had me doing everything from like cleaning to helping guests to just doing shit like that. And around an hour and a half before closing, like 8:30 I think, this shopping center closes hella late. We had these guests come in who were like on vacation from Hawaii, and it was a big family. Like it was the mother and father, like 6 kids, their aunt and uncle, another aunt and uncle, a grandma, a grandpa. Like this family would have put the goddamn Jinouchi family reunion to shame.
That's a Summer Wars reference for those of you who aren't educated on the anime.
And they picked out like 20 fucking bears to stuff? Like there were maybe like 14 or 15 members of this family there, 6 of whom were kids. And they picked out just like so many fucking bears. So they brought them all up to the stuffing machine, and the girl who was working at the machines at the time brought them over. And they were at the machines for a comically long time. Like I know they had a fuck ton of bears, but it doesn't take that long to stuff them. So since I wasn't doing anything at the time, I kind of wandered over to see if I could see what was going on without actually interacting with this family, because Lord knows I didn't want to. And it looked like most of the bears were already stuffed. They just needed to be stitched. And I was going to offer to help stitch because, you know, these were the only guests left in the store. At this point, we had already closed. At the moment, we had plenty of people working around the store taking care of other things, so I figured I might as well help get these guests out of our store. And as soon as I walked over to them, I was hit by a very familiar feeling. I think it's called deep, unfathomable regret, because let's just call her the matriarch of the family. She walks over to me with the fury of God in her eyes and what I'm assuming the pure hatred of Satan in her soul. And she says, "You need to help her." To which I reply, "Yes, I was on my way over to do that right now." Before I finish, she immediately snaps at me and says, "She is taking way too long." So I diffuse the situation by saying, "Hey, I'm gonna help her stitch the bears." She says, "No, not stitch. Stuff." So I look at the bears up and down. Oh, the bears are stuffed. So I ask her what she means, and she hands me one of the bears and says, "Feel this?" I give the bear a little squeeze, and it is, to our standards, it's a pretty damn well-stuffed bear. I would say perfectly stuffed. But no. As it turns out, she wants every bear stuffed rock fucking solid. So I run over to my manager and ask her if I can help, my friends stuff the bears. They were going to be coming down with the down stock soon, which meant that I was going to, have to help them stock the floor, and my manager was going to have to find somebody else to help stock while I took care of this bullshit. So my manager approves, and I help this girl, continue to stuff the bears. And the matriarch is on my ass the entire fucking time. I swear to God, she is feeling these bears up and down. With every limb that I stuff, she feels it to make sure that it's stuffed right. And if it wasn't bone fucking solid, she said, "Do it again." By this point, we had told them about 50 Brazilian times that if we stuff them too much, it's going to put a lot of strain on the strings. These bears are gonna rip, which I should put a spoiler alert on here for. So we stuff these bears and stitch them up, which is a goddamn chore considering how stuffed they are. And the matriarch, who I am hereafter going to refer to as this bitch, continues to berate the girl who took quote-unquote too long to stuff the bears. And she's just a fucking disgusting bitch to her the entire fucking time. And because of where we are, I can't say really anything bad to her, but I can at least say, hey, she's doing her best. These bears are, really hard to stuff because of how full they are. This bitch, who was already mad at me for not dropping everything I did and immediately helping her when I needed to ask my manager if I could help her, she turns to me and she says, "We are on vacation from Hawaii and it's our last night here. You should be treating us like royalty." But it gets worse. So we finish stuffing up their bears, and by this time, they've been in the store for 2 hours. They try on clothes for the bears like you do, and as I predicted, the bears started to rip. And instead of being completely sensible and just getting new bears to stuff, they asked the girl who stuffed their bears to re-stitch them herself. Rest in Reese's Pieces. And kudos to her, because I heard her tell them that that would not prevent the bears from ripping anymore. But of course, this bitch, as you've come to know her, fucking insists that this girl restitches the bear herself. I'm making myself angry recounting this story. And the stitches ripped and ripped and ripped and ripped. But bless this girl's heart, even with all of that bullshit, she still stitched all 5 out of the 20 bears that had stitchings pop. And of course, this bitch was breathing down her fucking neck the entire goddamn time. And when my coworker is done, this bitch goes over to my manager and has the audacity to tell her that my coworker needs to learn how to stitch better. And then my coworker proceeds to have a fucking panic attack because this bitch has been harassing her the entire time. And while she's complaining to my manager, this bitch tells her that they're on vacation from Hawaii, it's their last night, and we should be treating them like royalty. Again. But it gets worse. So they pick out all their clothes and their bears, and they come up, of course, to my register to check out, and I ring them all up, all 20 bears, every full outfit, and then they decide they want to go back for more outfits. So they ask me to keep the transaction open. They're the only guests here at this point, and they get more clothes, more accessories, and they come up to me with all the clothes and accessories, and then they decide they want 3 more bears. Extra stuffed crust with cheese. Hold the fucking pepperoni! So they get their bears, they get their clothes, and finally the transaction is about to be finished. And at the time we were doing this promotion where like for every $30 that you spent, you could qualify to get a $10 gift card for half off, which if you're a big spender at Build-A-Bear, you can get some pretty insane discounts. Like you can get like a $100 gift card for $50, what the fuck? And they qualified for like $300 worth of gift cards. And I didn't expect them to get like, you know, all the gift cards, but I expected them to get, you know, something. They wanted none. Fucking none. Which, you know, wasn't their worst transgression of the night, but it was just like, really, dudes? You're gonna be assholes the entire night, and then you're gonna have the balls to throw off our fucking percentage? By the time that they left, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I shit you not, as soon as my manager for the night closes the doors behind them and they're out of earshot, she screams, "What the fuck?" It was such a fucking shit show, but like, you know, at least it was over, right? Oh shit, it's about to get worse again, isn't it? So you know how they said that it was their last night and we should be treating them like royalty? Yeah, it wasn't their last night. They came in to get more clothes for their bears and also another bear, and they come up with this like huge stack of coupons that they didn't have the night before. Like, I have no idea where these coupons suddenly materialized from, and I have no idea why they hadn't done the fucking gift card thing the night before, because that would have saved them a lot of money at, you know, this new day where they decided to get a whole nother bear and a bunch of more freaking clothes. And that would have helped them a lot, because you can't combine coupons at Build-A-Bear. It says so on the little, you know, fine print at the bottom. And I told them that, you know, you can't combine the coupons, and of course, this bitch gets mad at me for that. And she declares that, well, Johnny let us use these coupons just the other day. He let us stack as many as we wanted. Johnny hadn't been working at the store for like a month. So she demands to see my manager, and I, you know, call my manager down, of course saying she's gonna tell you the exact same thing, and she told her the exact same thing, and then this bitch proceeds to badmouth me to my manager in front of me, and she goes up and down about how disrespectful I was and how stupid it was that, you know, we didn't combine the coupons. First of all, I was respectful to every guest that walked in that door, even this one. And as much as I wanted to tell this bitch off, I didn't, but my manager did. And my manager said, you know, if she wanted to file a formal complaint, she could do so to the general manager on Wednesday. But no, this bitch had to see her now, because it was their last day in California and they wanted us to treat them with respect and all that. Yeah. So we actually get them to finish their transaction, thank God. And as I finish up the transaction, this bitch looks me dead in the eyes and she says, and I quote, "This place is terrible. I hope you know that. This is our last day and you should be treating us like royalty." But it gets worse, because apparently they came into the store every day for the rest of that week. So much for it being your last night twice. Now, I wasn't there every day for it, but the manager who was there the first night was. And she comes up to me at the end of the week and she says, "Oh my God, they were in here every fucking day this week." And then we never saw them again. Maybe they went back to Hawaii. Maybe they realized that they spent upwards of $2,000 at Build-A-Bear. But regardless, that was the worst retail experience I ever had. I don't know what ever became of those guests after that, but I hope wherever they are, they're being treated like royalty.